our first trailer for Supergirl, the DCU's next feature film coming out next summer, and I want to talk about it. If you haven't seen the trailer yet before watching this, you probably should, otherwise this really won't make a whole lot of sense. But yeah, this trailer kind of gives us an idea of what to expect. I mean, after all, the movie is supposed to be a pretty faithful adaptation from Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. Only thing is, it's been a minute since I've actually read that comic, but I do remember really liking it. In the trailer itself, it kind of goes through the motions with Kara, who, I mean, you know, the whole thing starts with Krypto. You know, you see this like newspaper of Superman, so she obviously keeps tabs on what, you know, Superman is doing on, you know, Earth while she's out doing her partying. And that's what we got at the end of Superman. We saw Supergirl come in, she's like kind of hungover and stuff, she gets Krypto back, and Superman literally says like, yeah, you know, she parties on other planets where there's not like a red sun or something. Oh no, sorry, I think it's planets with a red sun, because they, you know, that's how they can like get drunk. Whether I botched that or not doesn't really matter, you get the point. And throughout the beginning of the trailer, you see kind of Kara being in that sort of hungover state. She's turning 23, I believe she says in the trailer, and you know, she's once again having a drink, so she's clearly dealing with a lot of stuff, you know, on the back end of her mind that she's not really talking about. But then things pick up when we have Ruthie come in. She's talking to Kara, talking about, you know, what she's got going on, you know, being the last Kryptonian and what it was like on Krypton. And then we see little glimpses of what was going on during that time. I thought it was really fascinating to hear her say, well, you know, listen, Krypton was not taken over in a day. You know, it wasn't like that. You know, she said something along the lines of like, you know, the gods aren't like that ruthless or whatever the case is. But I really do think that that in a nutshell is what makes Kara Zor-El so enticing as a character, is the fact that she is the last living Kryptonian to have actually seen what happened to Krypton before, you know, it got destroyed. In Superman, Kal-El's whole thing is like this entire message that he thinks his parents were giving him from Krypton, and he doesn't even have much of an idea to go off of what Krypton was like. She does. Most likely, Kara is using alcohol and partying to sort of distract her from that trauma and pain that she had felt, you know, once Krypton got taken over and destroyed. And then the trailer is her basically fighting off bad guys, being wanted or being taken hostage for something that had happened. Not really sure what's going on there. Now, look, I was kind of hoping we would also see Lobo at some point in this trailer. We see a very short glimpse of him, and listen, man, he doesn't say a word here, but he does look great. And he's kind of like in the shadows a little bit, so you can't really see Jason Momoa as Lobo. But listen, that man was born to play this guy. Like in the pantheon of comic book characters that have gotten like perfect casting, I'm talking Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Freaking Jason Momoa has to be in that conversation of just perfectly cast comic book characters, because he's Lobo, man. He's obviously Lobo. I wish we could have gotten here just a little bit of dialogue, but at the end of the day, it's cool. We still got to see a little bit of him. But near the end of the trailer, Kara says this one line that I think is just completely just symbolic of the differences between her and Kal-El. It's the fact, I think she says something along the lines when she's talking to Ruthie, she says, Superman sees the good in people, I see the truth, which makes you think back to the Superman movie, where again, you see that Kal-El was raised by some very good, humble, you know, heart to earth people on a farm in Kansas. So of course he's growing up with a completely different mentality than what Kara's been going through, because I mean, it seems that her life is just pain and misery. But overall, for a first trailer, this is some hype, man. First off, what really makes this exciting that I didn't mention earlier is just the fact that in the DCU so far, James Gunn has been the head creative force on the three projects that we've gotten so far. So the three projects in the DCU so far is Creature Commandos, Superman, and Peacemaker Season 2. And in all three of those projects, which I really like, by the way, Creature Commandos I thought was really good, Superman I thought was great, I loved it, and Peacemaker Season 2 was pretty good. I didn't like it as much as the first season, but still I thought it was pretty good. But what they all have in common is that James Gunn was the head creative driving force for all of them. He was basically the guy behind it, making it all come together. This is officially the first DCU project where James Gunn isn't writing or directing it. It's somebody else entirely, and you can sort of see that in just its overall style, its look. Much warmer tones and colors going on here. And I'm just excited. Not that James Gunn has done a bad job. I think the DCU hasn't missed yet, but it's just exciting to see someone else have their own sort of flavor here. But yeah, I think this was a pretty solid first trailer for Supergirl. I'm super excited to see what more we see out of it. Again, we're probably going to see Lobo say something at some point, maybe like a clip or whatever the case may be, but this was a nice trailer to start off with. Let me know in the comments what you think about this Supergirl trailer. Please tell me if you're excited for it or not. Let's talk about it. And until next time, peace.